y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, The Raven Simone, and I am back with part 2 of my motivational speaking series on my channel titled Metamorphosis, a complete transformation. Now, first and foremost, if you have not watched part 1, stop right here. Do me a favor, scroll down, click the link in the description box. Just go watch part 1. That way you can just be on track, already know what we're talking about, and you can fully grasp what I'm trying to tell you in the message. So go watch that if you haven't watched that. But for everybody else, welcome back. I'm so excited to be doing part 2, y'all. I love y'all. I miss y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. And y'all already know. Tell your mama, tell your man, tell a friend. Come subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click that like button and click the bell so you'll be notified every single time that I upload. And without further ado, let's just get right into part 2. The title of today's message is Target Practice. And the reason I titled this message Target Practice is because something I've learned over the last 8 months is that the moment you make the decision to start walking in your purpose, to start following God, to start being in alignment with who you're really called to be, you literally become a target for the enemy and for people who are not aligned. You become a target for them. It's almost like you're walking around with a bullseye on your back, because the enemy's number one thing is to keep you from walking in your purpose, to keep you from being who you're called to be, because that requires you to have a relationship with God. And that's the last thing he wants, of course. You know what I'm saying? And so that was just something that I've learned over these last 8 months, that you are going to be a target, Raven, for the enemy. Every time. Every single time you start a new venture, or you decide you're going to do something new, you decide today I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be who God has called me to be, just know you are a target. Just know that. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the analogy where it's like, when you single, nobody wants you. It's like nobody wants you, right? But it's like the moment you get in a relationship, everybody hitting your phone. DMs is going crazy. And it's like, where was y'all at when I was single? But I need you to know that you are now a target. And just as the enemy will target you, God will test you. That is something that I've learned. Just as the enemy will target you, God will test you. And so it's almost like, for example, you say, you know what, I'm starting my fitness journey. I don't care what has to happen. I'm starting my journey. I'm going to the gym tomorrow. I got all my food. I got my smoothies. I got my drink. I got, you're just prepared, right? You get everything ready. You drive 20 minutes to the gym. You get there and the gym is closed. And it's like the gym ain't closed on no other day. But the one day you decide you want to start working out, now all of a sudden the gym is closed. The one day you say, you know what, I'm leaving this man. I don't want to be in this toxic relationship anymore. Now all of a sudden he wants to start acting right. And now he's crying. And now he can't live without you. And you just this. And it's like, well, where was this energy before? You finally start doing something that you really want to do. Now the leeches that didn't believe in you before, the same people that was telling you that ain't gonna work, it's too many other people out here doing this. You trying to start a skincare line. You know how many people got skincare lines? You trying to start a business. You know how many people in that same business? But now once you've started, now these people want to, I knew you was gonna do it, and but where was this energy before? All I'm saying is, I need you to know that the moment you decide to walk into your purpose and walk in alignment, you're going to be targeted by the enemy, just as you're going to be tested by God. And so the enemy is going to target you, one, to keep you from your purpose. God is going to test you to see, are you ready for your purpose? Is this something that you really want? Because people think that walking with God or being on this journey is so easy, and that, like, once you start walking with God, then everything just goes right. And I need you to know that, like, walking with God is a struggle. God has to test you and see, is this something that you really want? And my job here today is to tell you that just as God will test you, he's also going to provide you a way out. 1 Corinthians 10:13 literally says, and I'm going to just paraphrase it, that God will not test you beyond what you can handle. He's not going to test you beyond your ability to resist. He's always going to provide you a way out. On the other side, the enemy's not going to provide you a way out. Or he will, but it's only going to be to keep you from who God wants you to be, to keep you from your calling, keep you from losing weight and starting your journey, or keep you from starting your YouTube channel, or putting out that song, or doing this poetry, or starting this hair business. He like, seriously, he's going to start to play on your mental. You don't really need to do that. Ain't nobody going to listen to that. You know? That's how the enemy's going to try to target you and pull you away from that. You get all the way to the gym and the gym closed. Now the enemy is in your mind like, exactly, that's you done wasted gas. Now you in your head like, this is why I don't go to the gym. Because I done did. I done drove all the way over here. Gas is $5. We in a recession. I already don't get paid enough. That ain't nothing but the enemy trying to keep you from doing something that's going to make you better. You have to look at it as a test and say, you know what? The enemy is targeting me, but God tested me. He trying to see if I really want this. And I do. So you know what? The gym is closed, but I'm finna go home and do an at-home workout. I'm finna pull up Planet Fitness on the mobile app and do a workout. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got all my business cards. I don't have the support. My website not as perfect as I want it to be. But the enemy will sit here and make you think, ain't nobody gonna buy from that. You ain't even got no website. You telling people DM the book. You telling people DM the purchase. Ain't nobody gonna buy that. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. If I can give you one piece of advice, do it anyway. I'm going to just keep it all the way real with you. Before I even recorded this video, I literally was crying. Did my makeup. I kid you not. I did my makeup earlier today. Preparing for the video, studying my notes, all of that. Some stuff happened. I started crying. The enemy was literally in my head like, Raven, nobody don't want to hear what you're talking about. Nobody's not worried about that. Ain't nobody even gonna take you serious. You on YouTube half naked doing this, talking about bodies and da-da. Ain't nobody finna take you serious. You on here trying to tell people to walk in their purpose and do that. And I just started crying. Like, you know what? Ain't nobody doing. And don't know what I have to say is not of value. Like, are people really even gonna listen to me? Do people even really care what I have to say? You know what I'm saying? And that was the enemy trying to keep me from doing this. But I had to say, you know what? This is a test. Are you going to listen to what the enemy is saying? Or are you going to listen to what I told you, Raven? This is God talking to me. Or are you going to listen to what I told you? Because I told you to put the video out. I told you to go down there and talk to people. And tell people what I've done for you in these last 8 months. So that you can be a living, breathing, existing testimony for these people. So are you going to listen to the enemy or are you going to listen to me? And I had to wipe them tears. I took that makeup off. I redid my face, fixed my hair, and I came down here and recorded this video because at the end of the day, when the enemy is testing you, know that that's because you are on the verge of doing something that is going to better yourself. He's never going to test nobody. The enemy never going to test anybody that's, you know what I'm saying, not even trying to get in a purpose. Why would I test you? Why would I waste my time on you? You ain't doing nothing. So why would I try to target you? I'm targeting the people that's trying to better themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset of the enemy. It's like he wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, we got one. I see somebody trying to walk in their purpose. Raven trying to be on her purpose again. Now I got to play on her mental. And like I've told you in the last video, the enemy will try at any angle to get you. But you need to know that God is also testing you and he's also providing you a way out. When you say you're going to leave that relationship and you know how toxic it is, he's putting his hands on you. He's talking to you crazy. Even if it's not a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, you moving home, you 20 years old, your relationship with your mother is toxic, your father is not around, you don't have no support. So you say, you know what, I'm going to get in my car, I'm going to drive 800 miles across state lines, and I'm going to move to a different city by myself, and I'm going to do this by myself. You think the enemy not going to target you? Oh, come on. The enemy going to play on your mental the whole drive there. The whole drive there, what am I even doing? Why am I even going here? I barely got money. I ain't got no support. How am I gonna make this shake? Then you get there, the apartment not ready. You got to sleep in your car for 3 weeks. Now the enemy telling you exactly to go back home. You should have never came here in the first place. That ain't nothing but the enemy. I need you to look at it as what it is, also a test from God to say, you know what? I felt it in my spirit that this is where I was supposed to be. So if I got to sleep in my car for these 3 weeks, I do it. I will spend 3 weeks in my car. 3 weeks uncomfortable for the glory that's finna come. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather spend 3 weeks uncomfortable than to be uncomfortable my whole life and stay in my hometown and never grow and never step outside of my comfort zone and see what this world has to offer or see who I can be outside of my family. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at it in that way, in that manner. I'm going to start this business and I'm going to sell these clothes. And yes, I'm going to say DM to book until I can make enough sales, save enough money, and then I can pay somebody to make my website. Period. That's how you have to look at it. And so there's a couple things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about why God tests us. He tests us because he needs to see if this is something you really want. Because walking with God is not easy. It's an everyday battle. Every day you have to battle your emotions. Every day I have to battle my emotions. Literally, the internal conflict that goes on inside of me. Raven, nobody don't care about what you have to say. Raven, do what God told you to do. Be obedient. Raven, you just doing too much. You too loud. You too aggressive. You too this. People don't like that. Raven, be yourself. Be your authentic self. Be unapologetically yourself. F who don't like it. F who don't want to watch your videos. You know what I'm saying? Those are the internal battles that I have in my head and in my heart. And so it's like, am I either going to say, you know what, I'm going to let the enemy target me, or I'm going to say, you know what, God tested me to see if I really want it. And I do. So I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so that is why God tests us. Another thing that I learned is that the purpose of the test is to build discipline. To teach you discipline and to build endurance. Because again, walking with God is not easy. And if you do not have discipline, you will fall right by the wayside. I'm sorry. There's so many people who get baptized, say they saved, and then a year later, back doing the same thing that they was doing before. They done forgot everything. They still, and it don't even have to be they back having sex or back smoking. They back to self-doubt. You back to fear. You back to not trusting yourself. You back to negative self-talk. You back to not believing what the word says. It's not easy. It's an everyday battle. But the purpose of the test, it will teach you discipline. The discipline that you need. Because to be honest, I've prayed to God. I want to be a motivational speaker. This is something that has been on my heart for years. Like I've told y'all, before I even went to college, I knew I wanted to be a motivational speaker. That was placed on me, right? And so it's like, do you really want to be a motivational speaker? Because being a motivational speaker is going to require you to go through some things. Because how you going to motivate and inspire people if you ain't been through nothing? So I got to see if you really want this. Because if you really want to be, I don't know if y'all watch Eric Thomas. If you don't, please go watch him. He's one of my biggest inspirations, one of my greatest inspirations. Has always been, will always be. But it's like, you want to be the next Eric Thomas, or you want to be better than Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas was sleeping in abandoned buildings, eating out of trash cans. You know what I'm saying? So are you willing to go through that? Because that's what you need to inspire people. So that's the purpose of the test. And then he has to teach you the endurance to keep going. Because what I will tell you is that another thing I learned is that the tests are inevitable. And you being a target is inevitable. It's going to happen. He's going to test you. You just have to realize that it is a test. And then you have to decide, how am I going to maneuver through this? Eric Thomas always talks about the lion and the gazelle. Are you either a lion or are you a gazelle, right? But something that I've learned is that no matter what, the gazelle is always going to be a target for the lion. every single day. The gazelle is always going to be tested every single day. Does that mean the gazelle just doesn't get up and doesn't live their life and don't become the you know what I'm saying, who they're supposed to be? No. The tests are inevitable. When you're going through the test, it can feel like your whole world has went, you know, to shit. It can feel like your entire world has been picked up and dropped on top of your head. Like, I don't know how else to say it. So it's like, and in those emotions, if you anything like me, when one thing happened, I get the downward spiral. I'm telling you, my mind gets to going. I start to think about everything that it went wrong, everything that had happened to me, and why is this happening? This happened when I was 6 years old, and just why me, God, and da 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 da. And it could be. It's so funny because my friend Royale tells me all the time, Raven, you are so dramatic. So that, like, she gave the example of they could forget my salad dressing at Chick-fil-A, and I would just go on a rant like, it's always me. Something always gotta happen to me. Like, they ain't forget such and such. And man, people always forget stuff about me. When I was 10 years old, they forgot it. And it's just like, girl, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. But you have to learn how to navigate through that test, because again, every level that you get to, there's going to be a different test. And I also need you to know that the test is just preparation. Just preparation. View it like that. Change your perspective. The test is not punishment from God. The test is preparation for the next level. Because you cannot go to the next level if you don't master this one. And I think, especially in our generation, it's so popcorn, it's so microwavable, it's so quick, it's so overnight success, it's so, and people don't realize that longevity and real success and things that last, that really mean something and have value, those take time. Those things take time. Those things have to be refined and worked on and studied and practiced. That doesn't just happen overnight. You're not just going, you know what I'm saying? You can become a TikTok star in the morning, but I kid you not, in 2 years, you're not going to be that. You're just not. Because that's not how it works. I remember, I kid y'all not, and this is why y'all, please write things down. If it's one thing I can tell y'all that I've learned over these last 8 months, is that when you write things down, it gives you the opportunity to look back at it when you're now sitting in what you prayed for. And it serves as proof. It serves as a testimony. It serves as evidence that God is real. I think we all have this like illusion, like, oh yeah, thank God, I pray to God, da da da. But like, do you actually know how real God is? And how, like, the things, listen, just listen to this. I kid y'all not. I marked it. This is my journal. This is my real journal. Like, I will show y'all. This is my real journal that I actually write in. Like, this is my real journal. I put times and dates. Let me see if I can show y'all. I put times and dates. This was March 24th, 2022 at 7:30 in the morning. Okay? Like, I write in my journal because it's just like, it just makes it real. So, I was watching church, and if y'all don't know, I'm a part of Transformation Nation, Transformation Church with Pastor Michael and Natalie Todd. And so they were doing this whole thing talking about tithing and how you have to tithe to God, and just talking about that. And I'm like, man, I don't want to give my money to no church. Who knows what the church is doing with my money? I ain't doing that. They could be doing X, Y, and Z with my money. Why would I give that to them? Right? And then God told me, like, just do it, you know? And I was in the midst, and I'm like, you know what? I want to start following God. I want to start doing what he say do. So even though I feel like the church going to be doing X, Y, and Z with my money, let me just go ahead and do it, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z with my money. So it's like, you sitting up here blaming the church saying, I don't know what they could be doing with my money. What you going to do with your money? Spend it on nails, hair, lashes? You gonna smoke, you gonna drink, you gonna go out to the club, you gonna have, like, you ain't doing nothing purposeful with it either. So you might as well give it to the church. You know what I'm saying? And so they were talking about tithing. I wrote on March 24th, 2022. This was 4 days before I started the job I have now. I said, thank you, God, for your love and grace and mercy on my life. I was saying now, no matter what my last check was from my job, because a little backstory, like I said, I was working at a job that I really, really hated. And at I was grateful for it, God, but I really hated this job at the beginning of the year. And I had put in my 2 weeks because I knew I was finna start my new job, which I just love. And so I'm like, no matter what my last check is, no matter what it is, and it's not like I was getting paid what I'm getting paid now. Okay, let's just be honest. So I'm like, no matter what my last check is, I'm going to tithe. And tithing literally just means 10%. So whatever your check is, you give the first 10% of that. Not after you pay your bills, whatever's left over. As soon as you get your check, the first 10% of it immediately goes to the church, right? So I was telling God, no matter what my last check was from my job that I had quit, that I would tithe for the first time. I had calculated that my last check would be $600 because I'm gonna be honest, I put in a 2-week notice and I quit before the 2 weeks. I just couldn't even take it. Don't listen, God's still working on me. So I'm like, I calculated that my check would be $600. So I was okay knowing that I would pay all my bills. I didn't really have bills. I think I had like I paid my Apple Music, my gym bill, because I was living at home. So I didn't really have a lot of bills. So I'm like, my check is going to be $600. I was okay knowing that I would pay all my bills and tithe and wait on my next check to start my savings account, right? Well, the day after I said I was going to do this, me and God had this, and I put in parentheses, me and God had this agreement, and I didn't want to not hold up my promise or my word to God. My friend Royale texts me and says, call this number. We have to pay Swiss, which is our apartment that we had in Dallas, right? So she said, call this number. We got to pay Swiss this money that we still owed them. I didn't even know that we had still owed our apartment complex, money. So I'm like, oh, I didn't know we still owed them. But when you move out, there's still like those last fees. So I'm like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting this. This is now throwing a wrench in my plans. Like, what's going on? And so I'm like, man, okay, I'm going to call them because we have to pay it. I started to think, I started to think I'm not going to have enough. I started to cry and wallow in pity. I started to be sad. I'm trying to calculate things down to the penny. And so I finally sat in my car and I said, either I'm going to choose faith or I'm going to choose fear. And I told myself that I'm choosing faith. God will make this okay. I started thinking logically, even if I don't have any money left, or if I gotta go into my savings account, I'll be okay. I'll just put it back when I start my new job, and I know that God will continue to bless me. In the past, God will continue to bless me just as He's done in the past, and that made me feel better. So I chose faith. Why did my check end up being way more than what I needed? Y'all, I got the check and it was way more than what I needed. I said, wow, this is why y'all gotta write stuff down. I said, why did my check end up being $8.95? Now that may not sound like a lot, and it's not a lot, but it was just what I needed. And it just so happened that the word of the day on my Bible app was Matthew 6:34 through 36. Do not worry. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all things will be added to you. I love you, God. I worship you because you are a good, forgiving, faithful God who never forsakes me. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you. And it's not the money per se, but it's the fact that you are truly working on my heart. And I'm seeing it happen. I'm literally watching myself become more confident in my faith and trusting even when my flesh decides to worry. I feel my spirit working, pulling me to the other side of fear, which is faith. I choose faith. I just gave my first official tithe of $90. I don't know why I expected to feel some overwhelming, crazy feeling afterwards, but I didn't. However, I can't stop smiling knowing I kept my promise to God. God allowed me a way to do that, right? And that's literally what I was writing in here. Wow. This is giving me chills even reading it. The sermon with Robert Morris was about a test. Wow. The sermon with Robert Morris was about a test and how every payday is a test day from God. God wants to see who are we thanking for the financial blessing that we get. And by that, he means who is the first person to get your money. Excuse me. Who is the first person to get your money? Is it the light company? Is it the cell phone company? Is it weed? Is it the liquor store? Is it Fashion Nova? Who's the first person to get money once you get your check, right? And so I said, who is the first person to get some of your money? It should be God. So I paid my tithes first. Then I paid all my bills. I must thank God first. Tithe. I must thank God first. Tithe, and then my responsibilities will come after. So again, thank you, God. Please pull me from under the financial curse of this world and help me to live a blessed life, God. One where you bless everything I put my hands to because you know my heart. That was on March 24th, 2022. And when I tell y'all, from that day, since that day, I have not missed a tithe. Every paycheck that I have gotten, I have tithed. And trust me, my tithe has went from more than $90, okay? And every paycheck I tithe. Why? Because the tests are inevitable. The tests are inevitable. They're going to come. But are you going to allow yourself to be targeted by the enemy and say, you know what? Rent look crazy this month. I don't know. The bill's getting a little high. I might have to skip this month. I don't know if I can give you my tithes this month, God. Or are you going to say, you know what? I trust you. You made it happen for me in the past. You made it happen for me when I didn't have no job. When I didn't have a job, when I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, you made it happen for me. So why wouldn't you make it happen for me now? You know what I'm saying? That's how you have to start looking at things. And now I kid you not, God has blessed me financially in ways that I have never expected. But it's a blessing. Why? Because I passed the test. Because this first test on March 24th taught me discipline, and it taught me obedience, and it gave me the endurance to last, right? And it's serving as a testimony. So here we are now. That was March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Now we're about to be in October, 7 months later, right? And my endurance continues to grow. And now tithing is normal for me. I don't even think about it. You know what I'm saying? Even if the bills is crazy, even if I got to do if some unexpected things coming up, that doesn't bother me because I would rather have 90% with God than 100% without Him. Right? And so I'm telling you this to tell you that the tests are inevitable. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever level in your life you're trying to elevate to, whatever new journey you're trying to start, you are going to be tested and you are going to be targeted. It is up to you it is up to you to navigate through that space and to trust yourself and to trust God. And so I want to give you some tips on how you can pass the test, right? Remember why you are doing the things that you're doing. Remember why you want to start that business. Remember why you want to leave this relationship. Remember why you want to start working out. Remember why you want to get baptized, or remember, and it don't even have to be anything crazy. Remember why you want to start meditating. Period. Remember why you want to stop cussing. Remember why you said, you know what, I think I want to start. Just remember your why and hold true to that, because that is going to be the thing that anchors you and keeps you grounded. It's so important to hold on to why you are doing something, because if you don't have a real reason why you're doing it, it will not last. I can promise you that. Number 2, trust yourself. It's the difference between believing in yourself and trusting yourself. And this is something that I learned, right? Because for a long time I would always say, I believe in myself. I believe that I could do this. I know I can do this, right? I know I can start my YouTube channel. But do you trust yourself? Do you trust that the content that you're putting out is content that is gonna, gonna generate revenue, or content that people are actually gonna like and buy into? Is it content that, is it content that feeds your soul? Do you trust yourself? Do you trust your intuition? Trust yourself in the sense that the actions that you are doing are purposeful. You know what I'm saying? I trust myself that even though I'm starting this business and I don't have all the necessary resources that I need, I trust that what I'm doing is right. I heard God tell me to start this business. I feel it in my soul. I feel it in my spirit. So I'm going to trust that. I'm going to trust my intuition. I'm going to trust my gut feeling, because that's going to help you. That is literally like God talking to you. Trust that voice that you hear inside of your head. And then keep the promise, right? Like I said in that, I didn't want to not keep up my end of the bargain that I had made with God. Because one thing about God is He going to always hold up His end. Always. He's not like us. Because we're wishy-washy, flip-floppy. One day I'm 10 toes down. The next day I'm 10 toes up in the air. Like, I'm on my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, but God is not like that. God is going to always hold up His end of the bargain. If He said He's going to do something, He's going to do it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was a part of the reason why I was able to just tithe, because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to break this promise to myself and to God. I told Him that no matter what, I was going to do it. And then life got real and I started questioning. But I had to decide, am I going to choose fear or am I going to choose faith? And I chose faith. And one thing that I have learned is that when you choose faith and when you pass the test, God will reward you. Sometimes we can get in our own way. Yes, the enemy is going to target you, but sometimes we can get in our own way, because we will think that in order for me to start my journey, everything has to be in order. In order for me to start my business, I got to have X, Y, and Z. If I don't have that, I can't do it. You know how many people start businesses in garages, in basements, in bathrooms? You know what I'm saying? Like, in kitchens. People started out doing hair in kitchens and now they own in salons. I don't know if y'all know Hair by Erica J, but these are just all of these influencers that you see, like, they had to start from somewhere, right? And it started with them being obedient and being disciplined and keeping the promise to themselves. Now, we real and raw and honest on this channel. Very real, very transparent. There have been multiple times, probably more times than I've passed, that I have failed God's test. I've probably failed more of God's test than I've passed God's test. But the beautiful thing about God is He's not gung-ho on your failures. God's focus is not your failures. It's not. God's focus is your future. That's really what He want to focus on. These are the things that I have found that helped me once I failed my test. Because like I said, if you're anything like me, when you fail at something, or when something just doesn't work out the way you expect it to work out, and I did quotation marks because you can't ever really fail. All you can do is learn, honestly. But when you have those learning experiences, I know for me, I sometimes get down on myself and I will punish myself like, dude, you knew better. How could you do that when you knew better? To be honest. And so one thing I've learned was that you do not condemn yourself. God's purpose is not to condemn you. God's purpose is to discipline you. Because discipline is a form of love. It's a form of self-love. And I know that word has such a negative connotation because how majority of us grew up. And when your parents disciplined you, that means you were in trouble. That meant you were in trouble. Discipline does not mean trouble. Punish is equivalent to being in trouble. Discipline is equivalent to love. Because I would rather teach you and show you and practice with you the right thing to do than to have you be out here just, you know what I'm saying, doing things that are not good for you, that do not benefit you in any way, not mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, career-wise, anything. And so the second thing that I've learned is to prepare for the next test. And I know it can be hard, but I'm here to tell you, like, it's okay if you fail. Failing is just a learning experience. Go back to the drawing board. Go back to the last thing God told you to do. Especially when you don't know what to do, when you're lost. That's my thing. When I'm lost, if I feel like I don't hear God, or I'm not hearing what he's saying to me, I just have to go back to the last thing I did hear him say. And it's not easy. I'm telling you, I'm saying it as if it's easy, but it's not. This journal is literally full of breakdowns and testimonies, and me literally saying to God, and excuse my language, but me literally saying to God, what's happening? Especially when you feel like you failed test after test, and you're like, God, I'm trying. Like, why do I keep failing? But I'm here to tell you, God does not focus on your failures. Only we do. That's a human thing, right? These tests have to come because walking in your purpose is not easy. Everybody talk about, oh, I want to just live in my purpose and find my purpose. Do you really want to find it? Because it's not easy. And once you find it, it's very hard to walk away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing these videos now and I'm thinking to myself, Raven, you don't have everything in order. You've never done this before. When was the last time you spoke in front of a crowd? You know what I'm saying? But I have to do it anyway. And the last thing that I learned, and this, if you don't take anything away from this video, y'all, I pray that you take this away. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. If you anxious, if you nervous, if you full of self-doubt, if you don't think people will buy into it, you don't think people will believe in you, do it anyway. Because that is where the growth is. That is where the change is. That is how you prepare for the next test. And that's the next test that can take you to the next level. Seriously. And there are people out here waiting on you to go to the next level so that they can be inspired, so that they can be healed, so that they can be transformed, so that they can be changed and renewed. Like, there are people waiting on you to walk through your testimony, come out on the other side and share it, just so that they can know this is possible. My dream is possible because I saw such and such start this hair business. I've been following her since she was doing hair in her mama's kitchen. Now her stuff is being sold in the stores. You know what I'm saying? There are people that are literally waiting for you to step into your calling because they need the healing. And I'm not just saying this to y'all. These are things that I have to tell myself, Raven. There's people out there that need you. They are literally waiting on you. So while you being selfish and arrogant and you know what I'm saying? Oh, I gotta have everything perfect. I gotta da, 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 da. There are people out there that need you, and they don't need it to be perfect. They just need to hear you. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of how much anxiety you have, regardless of how, and I'm not saying it to dismiss your anxiety. I'm not saying it to dismiss the self-doubt. I'm saying it so that you know that even in the midst of anxiety, even in the midst of self-doubt, even in the midst of fear, I need you to walk in your purpose anyway. I need you to start your business anyway. I need you to do it anyway and trust. This is where trust comes into play. That although I am filled with anxiety and fear and self-doubt, I'm going to walk in my purpose anyway, start my business, and know that anything I lack, God is going to provide. Anything that I lack. Because I serve a God that is bigger than anything that I could ever imagine. You have to really think about this. Like, really put it into perspective. Like, man, like, there are people out there that need you to start doing what you have to do. And don't keep ignoring what you hear God telling you to do. That little, and even if you don't think it's God, because I'm not just going to put my spirituality on you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is entitled to their own beliefs and their own spirituality, and everybody has their own relationship with God. But I'm telling you that voice that you hear inside of you telling you I need you to start this YouTube channel. I need you to start doing this. I need you to teach at this school. I need you to help this person. Even though you don't like this person, I need you to help this person. They need you. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things that you have to do. And that is called obedience. Doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. They may not be comfortable. They may not be pleasing to you. Or they may not even be beneficial to you. Like, you may not gain anything out of it. But there are people out there waiting on you to step into your calling. Waiting. And I don't care how many tests you failed. I don't care how many times that you've tried and failed. And I don't care how many videos you uploaded and it didn't work. I don't care how many videos you do it again. Well, I uploaded 5 videos and they ain't been watching it. I didn't launch 3 lines and I ain't sold out yet. Launch the 4th one. Launch the 4th one. Write the 4th book. Upload the next video. Because even in the midst of that self-doubt, if this is something that God told you to do, I need you to know that He is going to provide for you. So, moral of the story, y'all. The main takeaway, like, I'm just being all the way real. The main takeaway is that the tests are inevitable. Being a target is inevitable. It is up to you to maneuver through that, even in the midst of the test. I need you to stay focused. Even when you feel like you're being tried and tried and tried, I still need you to stay focused and do what God has called you to do, because there are people waiting on you to be you. There are people waiting on you to be your full, authentic, true self. Like I said, just as I'm on here talking to y'all, this is also like ministering to myself and healing myself even more, helping myself even more. So continue to grow, continue to be great. I love y'all. Scroll down, smash that like button, make sure you comment. Let me know what it is that you feel like you're being tested on right now. If you feel like God is testing you, or just life in general is testing you, let me know. Comment down below, DM me, hit me up, like whatever. I always love to talk to y'all about the things, you know, that we talk about in our videos. So I love y'all and thank y'all for tuning in. And yes, tell your mama, tell your man, and tell a friend to come subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you in the next video. Mwah!